America is $36 trillion in debt. The number is so large it stops making sense. But behind it are real people, real lenders, and real consequences. Most point to China as the main creditor. And yes, China holds about $750 billion of that debt. But China itself is drowning too, with over $18 trillion in the red. And here's the paradox. Chinese banks own American debt, while American banks hold Chinese debt. Europe holds both. Everyone owes everyone. The result is a world entangled in $300 trillion of total debt, 3 times of the size of the entire global economy. If the whole planet owes money, then who is it all owed to? The answer reveals something uncomfortable. The modern world is not built on wealth, it's built on motion, a cycle of borrowing, lending, and reinvesting that never stops. Debt wasn't always this complex. Thousands of years ago, it was just a promise, a bag of grain lent to a neighbor, repaid after harvest, no interest, no contracts. Borrowing from tomorrow to solve a problem today. But empires wanted more than grain. They needed fleets, fortresses, and armies. In the 1600s, England faced that problem head on. King Charles II wanted war with the Dutch, but had no money. The solution changed the world: public debt. Citizens could now buy bonds, written promises that the crown would repay them with interest. For the first time, governments could raise massive sums without taxing their people into revolt. Bonds became the foundation of modern finance. By the 20th century, this system went global. World wars drove nations to borrow on a scale never seen before. Then came 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement. The US dollar became the center of the global system, backed by gold. But there wasn't enough gold to back the dollars being printed. In 1971, Nixon ended the gold standard. From then on, money became fiat, backed by nothing but government decree. And with that, the age of infinite debt began. From the 1980s onward, governments discovered that borrowing didn't just save economies, it could grow them. Borrow to build schools, borrow to rebuild after crisis, borrow to win elections. Debt became the new engine of progress. Today, total global debt sits above $300 trillion, a mountain so high it could reach the moon and back 50 times. But it's not all owed to some hidden elite. The truth is stranger. The US government owes roughly 70% of its debt to Americans themselves, through banks, pensions, and investment funds. Your savings, your insurance policy, your retirement fund, they're all part of the same loop. The government borrows, you lend through bonds. The government pays interest. That money flows back to you and you lend again. It's a closed circuit of money in constant motion. Within countries and across borders. Japan lends to the Netherlands. Netherlands lends to Brazil. Brazil buys US bonds. The cycle repeats endlessly. So if everyone borrows to pay old debt, what happens if they stop? They can't, because debt now fuels everything, from jobs to welfare to infrastructure. In the US, 25% of government spending is borrowed. In China, it's nearly 20%. If governments stopped borrowing, spending would collapse, businesses would fail, and millions would lose work. The same loop that creates growth would reverse overnight. Greece in 2008 was proof. When lenders stopped buying at bonds, the economy shrank by 25% and a generation was left jobless. That's why no major economy truly pays off its debt anymore. It just refinances, borrowing new money to repay the old. The system survives by never standing still. But infinite motion has limits. As borrowing grows, so do the interest payments. In the US, nearly $1 trillion a year now goes just to service debt, more than the defense budget. And when confidence cracks, the whole system trembles. If investors demand higher returns, borrowing costs surge. Governments turn to printing money and inflation follows. Even moderate inflation is dangerous, especially for countries that borrow in dollars. If their local currency weakens, their debt balloons overnight. That's how Sri Lanka and Pakistan fell into debt traps. borrowing more just to pay interest on old loans. The cycle turns cannibalistic. So when people ask, why can't America just stop borrowing? The truth is, it can't. Debt isn't just a burden anymore. It's the backbone of the modern economy. It funds growth, pays wages, stabilizes crises, and sustains governments. But it also builds fragility, a system that works only as long as everyone believes in it. And now, belief is fading. In 2025, investors are fleeing into gold, the asset that doesn't depend on promises. Gold is up 28%, silver is at a 30-year high, and mining stocks are surging. Banks from JP Morgan to Goldman Sachs now predict $4,900 by mid-2026 per ounce of gold. It's a reminder that beneath the illusion of endless credit, people still crave something real. Because if the world's $300 trillion debt machine ever stops spinning, it won't just be numbers that vanish. It'll be the system itself.